Welcome to the Real and Real Estate Podcast, your go-to show for real estate success. Whether you're an agent aiming to crush it or a buyer or seller wanting the inside scoop, we're here to deliver expert advice, insider tips, and the real talk you need. Each episode, we chat with top industry pros to give you the facts, strategies, and inspiration you need to thrive in this business. Let's dive in and make big moves together. Hi, welcome back to the Real and Real Estate Podcast. And once again, we are here with Natalie Hartman and with Morphe Staging, and I'm very excited to have her back. It's the beginning of a new year. We're going to talk about trends and what to look for in 2025, what to do and maybe what not to do also. So welcome back, Natalie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, for those that it's been a while since you were on here, tell us exactly about your company and who you are, just a brief description.
Sure. My name is Natalie Hartman, and I'm the owner of Morphe Home Staging and Design. I offer home staging services as well as full interior design services.
Fantastic. Well, we all need your help from time to time. So, what I wanted to talk to about today is the trends, what to look for in 2025. I hear that gray's going out and earth tones are coming in. So, what are you seeing going forward?
So, really, with trends, it's more right now about the warm textured spaces with earthy tones, natural wood kitchens, spa like baths, curved vintage modern furniture, and European influences.
European influences. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Tell us exactly what that would be. Are you talking Danish? Are you talking Tuscan? Or just what?
So really just more about that vintage look, bringing in the warm textures, fluted, walls, accent walls, things like that. So it's really a mixture of transitional with contemporary modern flair to it.
Transitional is a word I hear a lot lately. So, a little bit of everything, I guess, without going too hard in one direction. Well, what colors do you find are really popular this year?
Without a doubt, more of a terracotta, olive, warmer, earthier tones.
Okay. So, if someone's painted their house gray, how could they bring that in without having to repaint everything? Would it be with accessories or how do you think?
Absolutely. So, whenever a client wants to get a little bold with their design, I always like to bring in things that are interchangeable, things that are not going to break the bank, light fixtures, accent pillows. So, statement lighting, quality rugs, wallpaper is coming back.
It
I
is,
prefer
yeah.
the peel and stick just because it's easier to remove and it's not so
Yeah.
permanent. So things like that you can incorporate into your design to keep it funky and fun without breaking the bank. If once that style goes out, it's easily removable.
I have seen a lot of the peel and stick, and some of it's just really beautiful. I've also seen some ads for peel and stick that you could get that is almost a custom with a big bold design rather than a repetitive design. Do you see that coming into play?
Oh, yes, definitely. We actually did one recently that probably some people would shy away from. It was pretty bold. It had some metallics in it. But that's what's great about it is if you do it on a non-textured wall, you can easily just remove it once you're tired of it and replace it with something else, or you can paint over it.
I had thought about doing that in my place, but my walls actually have some sort of texture, so I'm not willing to go to that much trouble yet, but I think it's beautiful.
Yes, yes. It's definitely, you want to make sure you do it on a non-textured wall. I found out the hard way whenever I first started my business that it will not stay.
Yeah,
And so it's definitely a little bit of a task to remove the texture, but there are some homes that do not have texture on their walls. And so that would
absolutely.
be ideal.
Absolutely. Well, what about kitchens? Are you seeing anything new or innovative coming in there? Or I know for a while, built-in coffee pots seem to be or coffee centers seem to be very popular. I wasn't sure that was ever a good idea, but tell us what you see coming forward, becoming popular.
Sure. With kitchens, I'm seeing a lot of creative backsplashes. That's a little easier to change out as well. And so I see that along with lighter wood tones or more natural wood tones. People are bringing those back, not necessarily painting cabinets anymore. They're bringing in more of the natural wood, lighter wood tones.
Okay, so still stay lighter. Don't go
Mhm.
with the dark, heavy woods. And what about bathrooms? I know there's always the timeless debate, and I think it will always be a debate. Do I put in a giant shower? Do I keep a tub? What are your feelings on this, or what do you see?
So we're seeing a lot of walk-in showers, getting rid of the bathtub, really going darker with the counters. So for a while, it was really about the white and gray counters. We are seeing clients starting to move towards that warmier, earthier tone countertops, along with more natural wood cabinets.
Okay, actually, my place has wood cabinets, and I love it because it does look warm. Well, let's talk it also. I'm talking about trends or asking a lot of questions about trends. Well, how do you feel about trends versus classic? Where should you go trendy? Where should you go classic? Or do you just do whatever you feel like at the moment?
So this is how I get this question all the time from clients. They'll ask how to incorporate bolder, statement pieces as far as selections go. I always say with the main pieces, stay timeless. That way you can change things out. So that means like mirrors, vanity, lighting, any kind of hardware you can change out easily and it's relatively inexpensive. So I always say go timeless with those big price tag items, and then you can interchange other items.
Okay. I saw a house one time. My favorite color happens to be purple, by the way. And
Mm.
they had the most beautiful purple sofa that I know they spent a lot of money on. And I was thinking, it's beautiful, but in about 3 years, they're going to be tired of that, I think.
Absolutely. I've seen some very bold sofas. I've seen orange before, and it's in and then it's not. And so
Yeah.
I guess if you have a disposable income where you are comfortable buying a new sofa every couple of years, then absolutely go for it. But I usually like to bring in things like throws, accent pillows, accent decor. You can even find relatively inexpensive area rugs and go bold with that and change
Yeah.
that out.
I know everybody likes to watch HGTV, and so do I. But I noticed, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, their design home that they end up, giving away. They had the brightest blue kitchen. All the cabinets, every cabinet was a bright blue. And I think, I guess that looks good today, but I cannot imagine that people are going to be loving that in a few years. I'm not sure why
I
they
do.
did that other than it makes for good TV.
It does, and it was a bold statement, just like the navy on the wall behind me.
Mhm.
Navy, royal blue, that was brought back, and I do feel like it's on its way out. I'm seeing more emeralds, or even black. A lot of clients are wanting black doors, black cabinets, or black island.
Mhm.
And to me, that is a little bit more timeless just because you don't have a distinct color. You can then incorporate other colors with black.
Right.
So to me, I feel like black is going to stay for a while, in my opinion. But I am seeing a lot of emeralds and, like I mentioned, wood, more natural wood. So they're staining oak for kitchen cabinets as well.
Well, I guess it's like my wardrobe. I wear a lot of black, which I'm not wearing today, but I wear a lot of black because you can do anything with it
Me
and you can add
too.
anything to it.
Uh huh. And you look slimmer. So that is the key
Yes.
for every
Yes.
woman.
And it always looks more expensive than it really is.
Mm hmm. Absolutely.
Well, okay, I think we kind of covered this. What should you spend most of your money on? But it should be, well, what do you think when you're designing a home or even staging a home? But when you're designing a home or designing for someone, where do you think they should emphasize or put most of their budget?
I always tell clients on the items that you use daily and you sit on, walk on, and or even low traffic areas. I say go, expand your budget a bit for area rugs, but pieces like accent chairs, sofas, spend your money there. And we can cut back in the other areas, accent decor, accent pieces that we're bringing in. We can find relatively inexpensive pieces and incorporate those with a really durable, long lasting sectional or sofa that you're going to have for a long time. So if you
Long
invest
time.
in a good quality sofa, you can have it for 10 plus years. And so when people hear, six, $7,000, $8,000 for a sofa, that may seem crazy, but you're not changing it out every
Right.
so many years whenever the cushions start ripping. People who have dogs, it's really important to get performance fabric for kids and dogs. So that way
Yeah,
it doesn't, if you spill something on it, you don't stain it. You can easily, wipe it off or wash it.
absolutely. Yeah, and if you think about how long you're going to have it, you know, what would that be? Amortizing it, a $6,000 sofa over
Hmm.
12 years really changes the outlook or the price of it, I think.
Hmm.
So, okay, so do you still feel kitchens and bathrooms are the best place for people to put their money when they're remodeling, renovating?
Yes, I don't think that's ever going to change. The
Mm.
areas where you spend most of your time. So in a home, the primary bathroom will always be occupied. So I always say spend it there in the kitchen, just because the kitchen is the heart of the home. You can add small tweaks here and there to other rooms to make them wow, but a dated kitchen is a dated kitchen. And so if you're going to spend any, money, get your return on your investment, I would say the kitchen and the primary bath for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Because you're in both of those every single day. Okay, I just recently helped someone buy a house, and we went through and changed out, and I think you mentioned this earlier, changed out lighting fixtures and cabinet handles.
Hmm.
And it made a huge difference, and it wasn't a lot of money. I think both of those items are, to me, are kind of like adding jewelry to a home.
Hmm. Hmm. That is one of my biggest pet peeves whenever walk into a lot of homes like you do. And I can't tell you how many homes I walk into and I just look at their hardware and think if they just changed that out or added hardware there, it would change the look of this room completely. And it's relatively, you do not have to go to the most expensive hardware store and buy pulls
No.
and knobs. You can find nice ones that are relatively inexpensive. Changing light fixtures out, whenever I do mention that to clients, they kind of gasp, especially staging clients, because they don't want to spend money or put money into a home they're going to sell. But I can find them really decent looking fixtures for $75, $50, just to replace their current ones, and it makes a world of a difference.
It really does. It makes a huge difference, and even if it's a subliminal difference, if someone is walking through the home that doesn't normally look at those things, it creates a different feel to the home. And whether they realize it or not, that makes a big difference in the offers that you get, I think.
It does, for sure.
Well, let's talk about your staging side of the business for a moment. What do you see most often? I know you're going to say declutter is number one, right?
Hmm. I would say clutter, lack of detail when it comes to preparing the house. You would think whenever I come into a home, the house, they would go through just, I guess, just clearing stuff out, cleaning, doing a really thorough cleaning. And I've walked into so many homes that looks like they haven't even started on anything, and it's completely cluttered. There's family photos everywhere. There's their degree on the wall. There's mounts on the wall because we're in Texas, so I see that quite a
Yes.
bit. Or they have just things are not appropriately placed. And yeah, it comes natural to me, and I have to keep reminding myself of that not everyone lives the way I live. Not that
Right.
I live perfectly, but if someone's going to come to my house, I want to tidy up, make sure things are in the right place, make sure things are organized so it doesn't look like a pigsty. So that's probably the number one thing I see.
And I find a lot people go, decluttering is very hard for a lot of people. I'm just the opposite. I want the mess out of my way. But decluttering because those are items that are personal or they just have trouble letting go of it. And I always tell them, well, you're going to have to pack it anyway. Let's pack it now so that
Hmm.
your kitchen counters look huge or your walls look nice and clean. And sometimes that helps them get over that hurdle, I think. Um, because we're trying to create a lifestyle for someone else, not sell your lifestyle. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not, whenever I go into homes, I don't ask people to just throw out their belongings. Pack them, if they're sentimental, pack them up and let's get them into a pod or into a storage unit or into your garage, as long as you don't stack the garage, with boxes. We want buyers to be able to see that space as well. But just, you don't have to get rid of them, just pack it away.
Right. And you're going to have to pack it anyway. So get ahead of the game. That's
Sure.
kind of how I feel. Also, you were talking about light fixtures. I know sometimes there's like, oh, that fixture's been in my family for years. It's in the dining room. I'm going to take it with me. Well, yes, we can write it's an exclusion on the contract. And if we have to do that, we can. But I think it's better to go ahead and pack it up, go to Home Depot, get an $80 light fixture or whatever, put it up there, you're done. You don't have to argue over it. It doesn't become a negotiation factor during the process. Do you agree?
I agree 100%. And another thing I want to touch on is light. So, light bulbs, lighting in a home.
Yes, thank you.
I do know that people like the warmier, yellower, more orange light bulb, but for listing, that needs to be changed out completely. And I get a lot of pushback from sellers. They just don't understand why they have to go and change all the light bulbs out. But I could show you photos, which I don't have them, but I've got them on my website where you can see the before had the more yellow lighting, and then the after. Just changing the light bulbs out makes a world of a difference without even changing a fixture.
Oh, I agree. I had a client, same thing. Every light in the ceiling was the yellow light. And you walk down the hallway, you almost felt like you were in a dungeon. So we
Hmm.
changed out every single light bulb. We put in daylight bulbs in that house. And oh my goodness, you could see the house. It actually made you feel a little happier too, because it was light and bright.
Lighting does affect your motion, so that's another reason why I do ask clients to change out their light bulbs. And what I give my clients is a link so they can easily purchase them. I understand everyone is busy, they're short on time, so I try to make things as easy as possible. I don't want to send them to Target, to Walmart, all over the Home Depot. I try to
Right.
make it as easy as possible where they can order it online. It gets delivered to their doorstep and then they can install them.
Well, Amazon.com has become a friend of mine for that
I
very
don't know.
reason.
I don't know what I would do without Amazon. I would be lost.
Yeah. Well, we'd probably be a lot richer because we'd spend less money. But
Oh,
yes, it
yes.
saves us a ton of
Yes.
time.
Hmm.
Well, tell us a little more about your staging business. I know you do both interior design and or home design, and you also do the staging. I find that people don't understand the importance of having your home staged properly. I'm stuttering here. I've got so many stories I could tell you, but I did have one client that refused to do it. They had already moved out. The house was empty. They said, "Okay, let's give it 30 days." I couldn't get him to stage it from the beginning. And if it hasn't sold at the end of 30 days, let's stage it. They finally agreed to do that. Within 2 weeks, I had an offer at almost full price. So it makes such a difference. Why should people call you?
I think that just the photos in general, that's the first view they're going to have of that home.
Yes,
And to
absolutely.
photograph an empty room doesn't give them any perspective of size of the room. They cannot imagine. A lot of people cannot imagine living in that home without actual furniture in the home.
They are not visual in general. Yeah.
Not at all. And so that's number one reason why I do recommend staging. And then two, you want them to come in your home and be able to imagine their belongings in your home. And if you don't have a king bed in a room, how are they to know whether or not their king bed is going to fit in that
Gonna
room
fit.
or their queen bed is going to fit appropriately in that room? So, and then
Yeah.
also layout. If there's an odd layout to a room and you have the room staged, then they can really imagine how they would, arrange their furniture in that space.
Yes, I had another listing like that. It was actually a townhouse, and it was like, where do you put the dining room? So I had a stager come in and they staged it. And yes, I agree with you completely. They couldn't, people are not visual and they have trouble imagining where things could go.
Yes, I agree 100%. So for those reasons, And, the photos, the listing photos, you want to reel them in. You want them to see a space that's not cluttered, that's appropriately staged with furniture. And we want from the photos to make them fall in love with the home. And then whenever they get there, I'm I'm really biased with staging versus virtual staging just because I've heard clients that did virtual staging initially and then they ended up switching to staging because buyers were disappointed once they walked into the home. It was virtually staged and they thought it had furniture and they get there and it's empty.
Yes. Now, are people, if they come to you, can you do, let's say they just want to do the living room or they just want to do the bedroom? Is that acceptable to you?
Yes, everything staging I do, whether or not the
Okay.
home is occupied, and I go in and I give them recommendations on what to move here, what to move there, what to pack away. And then also for staging for vacant homes, I'm not a fan of staging the entire home. So that is
I
number
agree. I
one.
agree.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's necessary. I do not think that clients will get a return on their investment. I really propose staging the main areas of the home: living room, dining room, kitchen, breakfast area, and primary bedroom. And really, in some cases, you can leave out the breakfast area. If it's a normal size breakfast area, there's no
Hmm.
need to stage.
Yes, I agree too. And that's usually the first thing you see when you walk in a home. Just like curb appeal, you need, once they open that door, you need that warm feeling, the home feeling.
Yes.
Well, what else would you like to tell us about morph staging?
Really, you've covered it all. I do design, all types of design, whether or not that be renovation design, where I help clients make selections on hardware, tile, flooring. And I also do e-design for my, out of state clients who hire me, where I give them everything where they can order it themselves. So they get a mood
Great.
board and then they click on the links and they do all the ordering and setting up themselves of all of the recommendations. And then I do a full interior design, interior and exterior.
Fantastic. Well, how do they reach you?
You can reach me by going to my website, Morphe Home Staging and Design, or you can call us at 832-826-6744.
And morph, by the way, just for those out there, MORPHE staging,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Well, Natalie, thank you so much for coming back on. I really wanted to help people know what's coming forward, what's to look forward to in design, and if they're thinking about redoing their home, how they could reach you and what they need to think about. Trends versus classic, cool versus warm. So thank you for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
You are very welcome, and thank you for having me.
Okay, give them the phone number and web address one more time.
It is morphehomestaginganddesign.com, 832-826-6744.
Great. And maybe we'll come back on again sometime and do some before and afters. I always enjoy those.
I would love to.
Okay, great. Thank you, Natalie.
You're very welcome. You have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Real and Real Estate Podcast. I hope today's insights have inspired and empowered you. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the podcast with anyone who might benefit. Have questions or a topic you'd like us to explore? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep moving towards success.